What's up, gang? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about maintaining habits. And it's kind of ironic that I'm sitting here in this room, which is different from the other room that you've seen me film in. And that's because I had to pivot today. I had to think on my feet. I had to get this done. And I planned on going to the office. It wasn't happening, it wasn't working. I had to do an update on my computer. It's always an update on the computer. Everything was going sideways for me today. So, this is how I want you to think about your habits today as well. Have you ever had one of those days where nothing seems to go right? Maybe you get a flat tire, maybe you get a phone call from school that your kid's getting in trouble, or your kid is sick, or you're sick, or whatever. We've all had these moments where we have grandiose plans. Maybe we're even cruising along in our journey of habit change and creating healthy habits for ourselves. And all of a sudden we feel like, gosh, this day, or even this week, or sometimes even this month are making it really hard for me to stick with those habits that I was working towards. So today we're going to talk about planning for chaos. And this is how maintaining habits works. You have to be willing to pivot, to think on your feet, to figure out what does this look like, even on my hardest day, even on the day when things don't go as planned and everything goes sideways. Yes, we're there. So let's say that you have a goal that you want to stick to consistently, whether it's working out 3 times a week or meditating. And if everything went as planned, sticking to the goal is not that hard, right? Like smooth sailing. I put in my calendar, I show up and I do it. If you wake up on time, then you should have those extra 5 minutes to meditate. If rush hour traffic doesn't exist, then you can make it to the gym before going to a family event that you had planned. No problem, right? That never happens. Well, very rarely. And when it does, we take it for granted. And when it's not, we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sitting here in traffic right now when I should have been there 20 minutes ago. So basically, if there aren't any unexpected interruptions, and it just comes down to getting started, but when life gets busy, that's when the chaos starts to happen. I oftentimes joke it's like with the cat puked on the bed, like because whose cat hasn't puked on the bed? There's all these things. And guys, as a health coach, I have heard all the reasons, and it makes it easier and easier for those excuses to creep in when we can say, well, I wasn't expecting X, Y, and Z to happen. And we start pushing off our goals. We start moving them to the back burner, as I say, like, well, this other problem can come in front. It's really easy. It's almost a form of productive procrastination sometimes, right? Which could be a whole nother topic. But like, have you ever found yourself at home, perhaps you need to get some work done and you're like, well, I'm just going to do the laundry. I'm just going to do the dishes. Or maybe I was supposed to do a workout. This happens all the time at home, right? Oh, well, the dog's got to go for a walk. And, there's just so many other things that are very easy to get in the way. So we have to remember that we have to plan for that chaos, and we have to be able to set ourselves up for success, even when things go sideways, even when our plan doesn't work perfect. And this is a mistake that a lot of us make. The chaos is an unpredictability of life is one of those factors that makes sticking to your goal difficult. And that brings us to the important question that hopefully you're already asking yourself, well, coach, how can I stay consistent when everyday life is so unpredictable? How can you plan for chaos? Like that just doesn't even seem like you can do that. And I think one of the things that we oftentimes fall into in this moment is thinking that we must have grit and determination, and we must be a disciplined human. Yeah, those are all good. Perseverance, grit, determination, discipline are all valuable traits to have, but they will not always serve you. And even on those days when things are, I'd say even especially on the days when things are going sideways, you might tell your grit to kick rocks. And I've done it too. So let's come up with a plan for how to have success even on those days. And that plan that I want to teach you today, I call confidence checking. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, when you set yourself up with a goal or an outcome that you want or whatever it may be, or a process that you're working towards, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you can complete that desired task? Now, before this, You're going to put yourself mentally into your worst day scenario. Okay. The cat puked on the bed. You hit your snooze button too many times. You didn't do your prep. You forgot to put your gym clothes out. Your dog pooped on the floor. Your kid is sick. Your knee hurts. I mean, whatever. Put them all out there. Okay. Your worst day, whatever that looks like for you. I've said some of mine already. You just had a meeting that you forgot to put on the schedule. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Put yourself in your worst day, then ask yourself that same question. So if my goal is to work out 3 times a week, and I have that plan, maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to put myself in Monday because Monday's always the hardest day. And I'm going to ask myself, does the plan that I have set out for me on a scale of 1 to 10, even on my worst day, can I do it? What is my confidence? Now, if your confidence is a 9 or higher, then you've hit the mark. So, for example, with my workout example, a 20-minute workout for me is pretty short. And I could absolutely do that even on my worst day. 10 out of 10. I could do it. I could do a 20-minute yoga. It's like a really low barrier, right? So that is a good option for me. Does that mean that my plan always has to be to do 20-minute yoga, even though that's like the lowest hanging fruit for me? No, but I need to have a plan, a backup plan for when things go wrong. So my plan could be to do an hour and a half of strength training in the gym, but I always have that plan B, 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 that I can do. So make sure you're confidence checking every single thing that you're working towards. What am I going to do 10 out of 10 even on my hardest day? With nutrition, for example, well, even when I'm having the worst day and everything goes sideways, I can use my blocking method, my hand portion method. I got that down, 10 out of 10. Okay. Now, on my good days, when I'm nailing it, am I going to prep? Am I going to measure? Yeah, I am. Am I going to have a plan? Yeah, it's going to be much more than that. But that confidence checking piece can be such a game changer so that you can stick to the habits that you're trying to create for yourself. Remember, when we miss a day, not a big deal. But when we miss 2 days, then we're creating the opposite habit. So we want to make sure we always have that plan B, that confidence check goal available, 10 out of 10. So today, what I want to know from you in the comments or in the community is, what is one habit that you're working on creating for yourself? And hopefully you have that because we talked about it yesterday. And what happens when you confidence check it? Is there room for that 10 out of 10 in there? Do you have that plan B? Or are you setting yourself up for failure by giving yourself too hard and too high of a goal that needs to get scaled back a little bit so that you can have success? So on those days when you're like, man, I'm killing it, and you can go all the way, balls to the wall, right? Like do that hour and a half long workout. But on those days when you're like, I'm phoning it in, phoning it in is still going to be better than doing nothing because you have a plan for that. All right. I want to hear from you. I can't wait to hear the goals that you're confidence checking and what happens with that. And if you have questions and you want to talk it out, let me know. We can do that in the comments as well.